Today I'm doing batten repair on my TR-1 Maui sail, 10-meter sail, and about a year ago I think one of the battens broke and they've been systematically breaking, so now all 5 battens where the cambers are, because it's a 5-batten sail, are broken right by the camber. So today I'm going to repair them. The first batten I took out right here, it came out real easily, but of course the camber piece was stuck right in here. So what I did is I just took a protractor, kind of made a hole there. Then because it's sharp, I took a kind of a blunt sewing and kind of pushed it further. Then I used just a pry bar and put it in here and pushed it down to here. And now I've got it to here, and I found just my Pathfinder key. It's rounded but smooth. There might be something that works better, but this works pretty well. I'm able to just slide it quite easily all the way. I pushed all the way to that side. Now I'm finishing up on here. I can do this one-handed, so it's pretty easy. And oh, out it pops. So that one's done. Unscrewing the tension for the next one and just pushing it in. Let's see. There we go. I should be able to get this up over here. Actually, just go down here and pull it out. And as I pull it out, I'm going to try to give it a little torque so I can hopefully just slide the batten out at the same time, rather than doing any special tools. Hopefully this will be enough to take it out. The first one came out pretty easily, and I don't want to ruin this batten tensioner by doing this. And I can use some needle nose vice grips also. Try something else. Using regular needle nose pliers is probably the best to get it out. I just happen to have these bent needle nose pliers, and they worked okay. Sometimes torquing this works, but probably needle nose is the best way to go. So let's see what we got as we pull this out. And oh, nice. So this one, it looks like it was broken before maybe, but this is great because it came out in one piece, so I don't have to do the fishing one for this. So 2 are out, 3 more to go. Let's see how the next go. One, I got an aftermarket batten tensioner, and it works just fine. So if a batten tensioner breaks or doesn't work, you can always find a different one that may do the trick for you. And this one has a little extra piece I had just to get some extra extension. So this one is going to be a little harder to get out. Let's see how I can figure out this one. Nice. Well, this batten was in there really far, probably because it was broken and put back in at some time. And I found a random copper tube and pliers, and with this, I was able to get it out all the way. Which is yay! So just a little twisting action. I'm sure longer, straighter, thinner needle nose pliers would have had it come out right away. But that's all it took for this. Let's see what this end looks like. And it's broken there, so I'll have to get that one out. This one's going to be a little bit more challenging because I had to kind of pull the actual camber head out, and I feel inside there's a little piece remaining. So I'll probably have to poke it and then use my key technique to get it all the way back. Attempt to poke it with this blunt sewing tool just enough to where I can kind of push it back to the key, see if that works. Nice, this actually took some time. I took a compass and poked a hole and then used my pry bar to kind of wedge it in. It's finally making some progress on pushing the broken batten back. Using an Allen wrench seems to have the best progress as far as pushing back the broken batten pieces. They were up here, now they're kind of just a little further. This is definitely going to be a process. Still going to it. Wood is sharded up pretty bad, so rather than putting it all the way through there, which will get stuck, I'm not sure if you can get a better view of it. I'm going to actually just take it through the actual stitching right beside the actual camber or the batten pocket. Okay, well that took a while. This is the last piece, a little cap. I'm really glad I took that out because if I didn't, it could be bunching up. Now it's all clean, there's nothing else in there. Put down a couple layers of tape before I put the camber back on, just to cover some of the wear I did to clean out the broken batten pieces. Cool, checking the final batten. Okay, it looks good. So just 4 battens, just 4 need replaced, and the 5th is good to go. So I'll put this back in. Nice. I labeled all the battens, 9 being the bottom, 6 kind of being the middle, and also measured the length that I want them to be, just in cases if I start to disassemble, if this cracks, I could always go a little bit longer this piece and still get the final length I need. And of course, that could be referenced to the sail also. Next up is to see if I can take these off. Right now I have a vice grip on either side, kind of holding it with my feet, and I'm taking 2 hands and kind of twisting it back and forth. I tried to keep on turning, and it didn't seem to do much, but I've already got a little bit of space there, so I'm going really easy. I don't want to break any pieces. So yeah, see how it goes. After talking with Phil from Maui Sails, he recommended to heat up the tube, not super hot, just hot enough to kind of melt the glue with a heat gun, and then rotating out one direction should be much easier to do that. So I'm going to start out on a low setting and just warm up the actual carbon fiber. Spent a little bit of time, probably a few minutes, just heating it up, and I quickly just turned it, and it looks like it's turning a lot easier. So I can see turning it counterclockwise. I'm going to do that. I don't think it matters which way, as long as it's done the same way each time. I am just using one hand. Let's see if I can get it out. Oh yeah. Now I did try this before, and I did get a little bit of headway. Almost there. Well, I think it's almost there. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can use, well, I'm gonna challenge myself, see if I can do it with one hand. Oh, nice. So one-handed, heating up the glue makes a really big difference. Just keep on spinning the same way. And yeah, that worked really well. Yay! Okay, it's out. Just pulled out the I guess the spacer, the rubber spacer, or is it rubber? No, it's plastic. Okay, I pulled the plastic spacer after, just with one vice grip. It's really easy. I noticed there's glue on this. I'm going to take note of that. So I will put glue on this piece and on this piece also as I put it back in. It's not a tight fit. I thought I was going to have to maybe sand it, and I may roughen up, but probably just a quick glue will hold it in place and seal it off so water doesn't get in there in case if it's underwater for a little bit longer. So I'm on the 3rd one right now. Really easy. What I do is just do this for a couple of minutes, back and forth, rotate it around the tube, and give it a shot. And if it doesn't come off easy, go a little longer, and eventually the glue heats up. It kind of gives away, and it just comes out really easily. So, yeah. Let's give this a shot now to see if that was enough. Nope, a little bit more time. Okay. 2nd round of heating did it. And now it's coming out. There we go. There we go. Yeah, and it's out. Measured it out with a little room to spare. We can kind of go. I can kind of go back and forth, just using a hacksaw. And it's well, let's see if we can. Let's see if I can do this with my feet here. It's very easy to cut through it with a hacksaw, so that's kind of cool. Let's see if I can finish the last little bit. Let's see. Maybe I can go like this. There we go. Maybe. There we go. But it's, yeah, this is really easy, so nice. I just figured out a cooler way to take off the actual shrink wrap off the end of this batten is to do, it's kind of obvious, but to do a rim, a cut around here with the utility knife, and then just do a length cut along there. And I'm going to be sanding down on this part anyway, because that's the longer, or that's the part that's too wide. So let's see here if I can just do this real quick, and then it just comes off super easy, much easier than the other way I was doing it. So little time savings tip there. So I completed one, and I decided to use the existing caps. It was actually pretty easy to sand, and it's much tighter. And I realized after thinking about it, this actual tube has a stopper at the end, so it gets thinner as it goes in, and the more you push down, the more it stops. And this lip makes a point where it just can't go past anymore. Add some glue, and it's a really strong bind. It's much better than just sticking in a shaft and putting lots of glue in there and hoping it's good. Plus there's less gap here, so the glue should fill in. We will just use super glue because it's a really close, it's really tight, and it's not, super glue is not as durable as epoxy, so it'd be easier to get out if I ever needed to do repair in the future, but it should hold just fine. And because all the pressure is going to be held by this actual piece, it doesn't really need to be super strong. It needs to just hold on and not come out like that. But this one's all ready. I'll kind of show you what I've done. I have just a orbital sander, and I just kind of go around, and these flat parts are a guide until it's circled off and circled out, and it fits perfect. So I'll show you what I do here. First, I kind of round this out a little bit, but then just kind of go like this and go to the other side. Just like that. Okay, well, I've been going back and forth a little bit. Oh yeah, I have eye protection and breathing protection for fiberglass. So just do that. Yeah, but I think this will fit. Let's see here. Yep, and then it stops the end, which is awesome. There it is. Harriet. Hey, kitty. What are you up to? Having fun? Exploring? Cool. So, and then this should fit in there. Yep, nice and easy. Let's see here. Oh, well, maybe there's some glue still on there. Oh no, fit. Okay, perfect. So that fit right there, and that's all good. Let me actually measure it. Make sure this is. Let's see, I'm looking for 235. I measured it to. There we go. This piece here, but I'll measure it real fast to make sure it's also 235 end result. Cool. Yeah. So we've got 235. Perfect. Finishing up with some sanding and kind of smoothing out the edges, and using some denatured alcohol to clean up the surface a little bit. Nice. All the battens are in place, test fitted, and they're good to go. Nice. So I'm going to put a little bead around here. Just kind of get a little bit right there. And just spin it on as it goes on. My boot, yep, that's good. Okay, and I'm going to just put a little bit around here. I think the first one is set. So that's really fast. Definitely work quickly. And this is a, let's see, this is a 5 to 20 second super glue. And it seems super fast, but compared to other super glues out there, there are definitely faster super glues. I think there's like a 1 to 3 second out there. Okay. Get there, here. All right. Oh, that one went in real easy. Yeah, let's see, it's, yeah, looks pretty good. Looks really good. Make sure it's in all the way. Oh, and it's already cured. Okay, so that's super fast. So definitely rotate it in, don't stop. And that is done. There's a little bit of extra super glue around this edge. There we go, just got some denatured alcohol here, and acetone works a little bit better if it's cured, but if it's still wet, then this should be fine. Also, super glue dries really fast when it's hit with Instaset, which is an accelerator, or when it's touching two items. If you leave super glue out in the air, it takes quite a while to cure. So that's just kind of a note. Once you put in this tube and it's already tight fit and rotate, it's good. We're all glued. That was probably the easiest and most rewarding part of this repair. The glue worked great. It was really fast. I feel like it is sealed nicely. I guess in wear back and forth, it could develop fine hair cracks, so water could leak in. I got the shrink wrap for this project, so I'll go ahead and use it. But it was such a good goopy layer there, and I wiped off the excess. I honestly do not think using shrink heat wrap tube is necessary here. I think it's good as is, or maybe just a little electrical tape, anything on there I think would be okay. But I think I'm going to do it. It'll look good, and if it breaks right there, it has something holding in place so I can pull it out. There are other bonuses to that, but definitely if you're going to use super glue, which I recommend, don't use fast super glue. I had just enough time to rotate it in, and then it was cured like crazy. So if you use like a 1 to 3 second fast cure super glue, I could see it curing before you even get it in the tube. So slow set, thick, longer setting super glue is definitely the way to go for this to have a good sync up all the way. On tubes, let's shrink this up. No, so I used a little too much heat in the existing shrink wrap buckle there, so I guess not too much heat. Careful on that. Okay. Now I'm just putting a little bit of sail repair tape on the ends of these caps, because if this breaks and you pull it out, these caps will definitely come off, and I don't really want to glue them on because they're so easy to come off to replace. So I'm just going to use the sail repair tape on this, and that's the way they came, with I think a green type of strong sail repair tape. So I'll do that. The tape is on. That should help a little bit if there's a close break to the tip. I should be able to pull it out without there being too much sharding or pieces of fiberglass sticking out. Sliding in the battens, I realized I should double check to make sure all the actual camber pieces are good. All but one was perfect. This one was off. So just double check to make sure it's all lined up before you slide them in, just to save some time. And yeah, just slide them all the way through. Nice. I found it was also easier to put the batten on top of the actual cord, and then you can put the batten tensioner on, and then afterwards you can just put this up and over, and I usually just take it all the way out. Just put some grease on there also, just because the plastic on plastic, it can overheat or be some, if you turn it too tightly or if it gets old. So I thought just a preventative grease on there would be a good idea. Nice. Well, I got it all together. It's looking really good. I've tried max downhaul, min downhaul, medium. This is about a medium setting, but either way, it has really good rotation. So a simple pump, there's no wind, super easy. I was just kind of getting the sail fixed up for longboarding, or if I want to do formula windsurfing, but I'm kind of thinking this might be an epic super light wind foiling sail. It has good shape, lots of speed, lots of power. My 8.6 is usually the biggest one I've had success using, and I've used an 11.7, 11.6. But this might be my new go-to. We'll see how it is. Thanks for watching the video. Like, share, subscribe if you like, and have a good day. Cool. Bye.